What's up everybody, how's it going? Before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to one of my brand new Patreon supporters, the film Chirp, Buzz, and Other Sensations. This is an interesting upcoming short film by two college students. Currently they're running an Indiegogo campaign to help fund much of the film. You can learn all about that movie if you go to that Indiegogo page, which will be linked in the description. They've told me that the audience that enjoys this show will probably like their movie, and I gotta say that's probably true. So please go and check out that Indiegogo, and if it's something that you're interested in, then please support them. I love telling people about other creators that are out there in the world. Check them out. Let's get right into the review, cause it's gonna be a doozy. Hey everybody, guess what? It is tax season, woohoo! So I figure we should talk about the government. So many of you have noticed that I can be a little outspoken about my political views.
Kevin's economic soapbox!
I guess I'm more outspoken about my economics views. What can I say? I love economics. It's one of my favorite things. In fact, I have a little political podcast that I recently started with my friend Josh. It's called Who Would Build the Roads, if you want to check that out. I'm just saying. Can I just do a plug like that? Well, it's happened now. One of the things that I really love about this YouTube channel that you're watching right now is you, the people. One of the things that you hear growing up is that there are two things you should avoid when you're in polite conversation: religion and politics. But honestly, this channel, with its diverse audience of different religious and political views, kind of proves that these topics can be talked about in a civil and entertaining way, if I do say so myself, and I do, because I just said it. And I hope that we've created a very welcoming environment on this channel and in the comments that encourages people to share their differing ideas. And because of that, some of you have even changed my mind on a few topics. I know! On the internet! Anyway, I just wanted to brag on you guys for a little bit. So I figure if I'm gonna have a more politically charged episode, I would go ahead and take like a political test. So I took one recently, and it turns out I ended up here. I guess you could say I'm a minarchist. I guess that's somewhere around like an anarcho-capitalist. I have to guess that the majority of you guys don't stand there, and that's okay, because I want you to stick around. I don't want my channel to be some sort of echo chamber where only the people who agree with me are watching my show. Then how would any of us ever learn anything? However, now that I know what political box I'm supposed to be in, probably important for me to find the perfect movie to spread that particular ideology, right? So I'm gonna put a halt for this episode on searching for the greatest Christian film of all time, and I'm gonna switch over to using my huge platform to searching for the perfect libertarian film of all time. I kind of have a responsibility to be preachy now, right? Okay. Good. This isn't gonna be forever, don't worry. In order to do this, I've asked one of the most libertarian filmmakers that I know, Patreon supporter, filmmaker, and friend, David Kirk West. I know I've plugged a lot so far on this episode, but seriously, check out some of his movies, they're pretty good. Anyway, he said that the movie that I need to review is a film called Alongside Night. And it looks pretty good, I gotta say. And in case you had any doubts about the quality of this film, check out what the director had to say.
The Alongside Night movie is an independent film produced for under $1 million. Compared to studio productions for a network television release, that's an ultra low budget. Nonetheless, the Alongside Night movie achieves production values, including starring actors who have appeared in major theatrical movies and network television series, visual effects produced by artists whose work has appeared in blockbuster movies, a musical soundtrack composed, orchestrated, and conducted by musical artists whose work has been used in numerous major studio movies and recorded by a major symphony orchestra, and additional music licensed with major recording artists and another full symphony orchestra, both interior and exterior locations worthy of a studio picture. This is not debatable opinion. These are provable facts.
Wow, with the director who's that confident and oddly non-specific about his film, it's gotta be good. I'm so confident that this is gonna be the movie that I've been dreaming about my whole life that I went ahead and picked it up on Blu-ray. There's already several little goodies on the cover. We got Kevin Sorbo, of course, is in the movie. Our old friend, Professor Radisson from God's Not Dead. Freedom's Not Dead, just a little tagline, I guess, of the movie, and similar but not exact font as God's Not Dead. And then a quote from Ron Paul. I believe Alongside Night will advance the cause of liberty. So, is Ron Paul correct? Is this the movie that will advance the cause of liberty? Is this gonna be a film that creates a new, confident generation of freedom lovers? Well, there's only one way to find out, so grab your gold, and let's get ready for my movie night review of Alongside Night. And just a heads up, do not be fooled by the presence of Professor Radisson, because this is not a pure flick. I mean, look at that. That lets you know right away. Yes, it's true that this title screen is just a JPEG rendering of the cover of the book, but come on. on, you gotta respect a guy who doesn't blow his entire $800,000 budget on some fancy title screen when he's already got a perfectly good title screen right here. Come on. So the movie kicks off with this excellent shot. Already can tell this is gonna be a great movie. We got one guy riding up on a motor scooter, another kid in the trenchcoat mafia.
You're gonna get chitty chitty bang bang fix.
When are you gonna stop dressing like Inspector Gadget?
Good one. So our two little friends here are excited to be here at school. Tag, you're it. Yeah, there's where the budget went, I guess. I should probably warn you guys, these special effects are gonna blow you away. I mean, look at that Ansonia Prep logo bouncing around in the background. I mean, that's, yeah. This movie came out in 2014. Anyway, we find out that we're in high school, and this girl's burning money for some reason. I guess that's apparently how we deposit money in the future. Did I not mention that this movie takes place in the future? Well, that's because the movie hasn't even told us that this takes place in the future. I've just been able to kind of sense it, but this is our first indication that this is the future. And nothing says the future like depositing money through burning it with an old iPhone. Because an overreaching totalitarian government is well known for allowing more fire hazards. Also in the future, apparently high schoolers are gonna be doing third grade assignments. So then we're introduced to the teacher. Dun dun.
No, you do not, Miss Danforth.
Booyah.
Please burn your money on your own time, not mine. I have an announcement. Mrs. Tobias has left Ansonia Prep permanently to pursue a government job.
Ooh, I wonder what that story's all about. I'm sure we'll learn more about that later.
I will be taking over this class myself.
As supreme dictator.
Ms. Danforth.
Mrs. Tobias assigned us a one-minute topic, the self-destruction of capitalism.
Well, that sounds fair and balanced.
Got him. All right. So Minnie Mouse here has something important to say.
The president said he's trying to save the capitalist system. Mrs. Tobias says the capitalist system can't be saved, and that progressive mutualism is a better system anyway.
Wow, that was a much deeper understanding of economics than I was expecting from this character.
Well, since the assignment is based on the president's address, I suggest we start by watching it.
Yes, I definitely want to hear what the president has to say in this supposed future dystopian universe. This is where we get the indication of what the policies are for this crazy world we're in.
We are not witnessing the self-destruction of the capitalist system.
Oh, good. I was worried.
Please upload your topics. Mr.
Anderson.
Your topic?
I didn't do the assignment, Dr. Conkin.
I'm an arrogant jackhole. So instead of doing his homework assignment because Elliot objects to the premise,
I object to the premise.
boy, where have I seen this in a movie before?
I can't do what you want, I'm a Christian.
Now, I just hope this movie doesn't end up being about Elliot suing the school for making him learn about socialism.
She said I can assign topics when I become a teacher.
She is such a
Oh, snap! The smuggest face known to man.
But I do have my own topic.
All right, Elliot, let's see it.
Zip. Instead, Elliot makes this crappy vlog video.
With all due respect to Friedrich Hayek, I think Mick Jagger said it even better.
Eat the rich?
Can't get no satisfaction.
Oh.
You can have all the treasure of Pirates of the Caribbean piled up on a desert island.
Here in this video, he sums up the economics of a free market.
You're dying of thirst. It's worth less than an ice-cold six-pack.
Basically, what Elliot is saying here is that market value, aka how much something is worth, is determined by how much people want it. So basically, something is worth as much as somebody's willing to pay for it. There are people out there who say that market value is determined by how much the products that it takes to make that thing are worth, or how hard somebody works in order to make it. Which seems correct initially on the surface, but whenever you dig down deeper, you realize that all economics is just a series of mutual exchanges with both parties saying, oh, I want that, oh, you want that, okay, well then let's trade that thing. If you want to learn more about that kind of thing, there's a book called Economics in One Lesson. It's actually pretty good and explains this whole thing. It's a little longer than just one lesson, unless you're a super fast reader, which I am not. Anyway, that is why Elliot seems to be really defensive about this point, because there's people in this world who disagree with him, including apparently all the people in his classroom. But since you and I, the viewer, are most likely just trying to figure out what the heck this movie's about, and we're not thinking, boy, I wonder what determines market value, then this argument seems to come right out of nowhere. And the funny thing is, this video is supposed to be this super simple explanation, but it's nearly impossible to understand within the context of the movie.
And the deal can change in a heartbeat.
It also doesn't help that the orchestra is so loud that you can barely even hear it.
But it's the idea that governments wrinkle so-called business cycles like Bronco Busters.
What?
The people already know what they need. And the more your government tightens its grip, the more its system will slip through your fingers.
Oh, this guy's face. However, I'm a bit in the minority here because the class seems to love it. I mean, this is the kind of thing that high schoolers just love. All right, Elliot, you're a genius! And the teacher loves it too.
Good job, Elliot. And you managed to boil down his complex theories into a lucid series of pop culture references. Well done.
Elliot, those cultural references, they were amazing. Those memes, they were dank.
Okay, class, enough class theory.
Then we cut back to the president's speech. Guess,
For example,
teacher felt like he had more to say. Did the other kids have presentations? No? All right.
that's revolutionary agorist cadre propaganda.
Oh, yes, of course it is.
To the revolutionary agorist cadre.
No! But just then, we get some bad news.
Would you please have Elliot Freeland report to my office immediately?
Daddy's dead.
Oh no, a character that we haven't even seen in the movie yet just died? But we cared about him so much. Oh, well, at least we get these weird green screen flashbacks where we learn that his father is actually Kevin Sorbo. I mean, look at all the fun they had being father and son. I'll never forget these moments. Now that's character development.
Good job.
So he's dead? He hasn't even been in the movie yet.
Sorry guys, I gotta go. My dad died. At least we don't have to pretend to like his dumb videos anymore.
Anyway, I'm sure we'll find out more about that, but first, we got at least 3 minutes of opening credits. What are you doing, movie? I mean, I do get why they stretched it out for 3 minutes. There's too much great stuff going on here. I mean, we've got this gold coin spinning around with Ludwig von Mises on it. You know, overlaid with clips of the movie that you're about to watch. I love when movies do that. It's like they're advertising for the thing that you're already sitting through. And we got this great Goldfinger-esque song, which is honestly probably the best part of the movie so far. So after the credits, we cut back to Elliot and his sister negotiating for a cab ride.
What you got for me, man?
Penn and Teller, Saturday.
Penn and Teller, because they're libertarians!
Get in.
So they go to this Las Vegas hotel where they get mobbed by the press.
Died of a heart attack early this morning.
I guess they're famous then?
You're madness, Catherine.
Oh good, he's not really dead. I was really worried that they weren't gonna have the guy who's on the cover of the movie in the movie. I thought they were gonna kill him off. Thank gold they didn't.
Well, you predicted this would happen, Martin.
You're a real genius, Professor Radisson.
You think that makes me feel better about it?
Well, so far this movie's been a little bit confusing. I hope that they sit down at the table and just explain everything that's going on.
Today is the day
The Lord has
that
made.
I've been warning everyone about for most of my career.
Oh good, they do.
FEMA warrants for my arrest are set to be executed tomorrow, so we are leaving tonight.
Now that's the kind of exposition I've come to expect in a movie of this caliber.
Sneak out of here in disguise at 5 and at 7. We will all rendezvous at the Union Station.
Oh, I really hope they show him in disguise. That's gonna be pretty good.
What is this? Is this tofu bologna?
He's referring to the movie there.
It's all the market had.
Freaking market! You can never trust that thing to provide you with what you need.
Really dead.
Wait, did her hair change colors?
We have 11 million new dollars in Liberty Coin gold pieces. We're definitely going to need them for bribes.
It's actually pretty amazing that a movie can spend so much time explaining what's happening and simultaneously leave you completely clueless as to what's happening. Pretty genius. Then we cut over to Elliot and his sister playing poker on the bed together. Of course, surrounded by all this nerdy anarchist memorabilia, because you gotta have that in the movie. Otherwise, how would you know that this is an anarchist movie? So he gives his 16-year-old son a gun, because in the future, kids gotta have guns.
And now,
A word from our sponsors.
shows you a special stock back at the bookstore.
Oh my.
Dad, you've been reading way too much Tom Clancy.
I think that's what every teenage girl says to their conservative fathers.
I got to eat it.
It's not funny.
I thought it was pretty funny.
No, that wasn't funny. So as Elliot is making his way to the bookstore, he's passed by a couple running from the cops. No, like they're literally running, cause, you know, the future! Then Elliot walks past this wall. Let me get this straight. In your evil, crazy, weird, dystopian future that you're so afraid of, you got cops running around on foot instead of using cars? And Ron Paul videos just playing in the street? I mean, that sounds like a libertarian dream, if you ask me. All right, so our main character heads to this bookstore where he meets this weird guy. I don't know.
I'd like to buy a copy of Not Worth the Continental by Dr. Martin Vreeland.
Come on, the gold's in the back.
You didn't do the countersign.
You're just like your old man.
What are we doing here? What kind of store is this?
I'll be out front. If you need me, just call.
Don't want to end up with another David Carradine situation on our hands.
Can I ask you something?
Are you Santa?
This better not be a diet question.
Okay, so this guy's obviously the writer/director. You don't just throw in a fat joke about some random fat guy.
Why'd you never steal the gold?
What?
Why'd you never steal the gold?
Seriously, what is he saying there?
Why'd you never steal the gold?
I don't have time for this.
I didn't steal the gold, Mom, because it don't belong to me.
Well, this guy's a regular old Ronyard Donashold, am I right? So Elliot gets this gold coin from this guy. Oh no, are we gonna sit through the credits again?
Oh yeah. That's chocolate.
This explains why the fiat money has that problem. If there was some back...
Our director is there, dirty got about free market economics with some random customer.
Rothbard.
This is a frustrating thing. I'm sure I'm guilty of this type of thing too, but whenever you have somebody who's going on about free market economics as if it's some sort of conspiracy theory, it makes people who support that type of economics sound like a bunch of tinfoil hat wearing nut jobs. What draws me to free market principles is its practicality and its reasonable approach to human interaction, not its nerdy club members and elitist attitudes. In fact, I would go as far as to say that I would like smaller government so I wouldn't be forced to interact with people like this.
It's all in Rothbard. It's all in Rothbard. What do they teach in the schools these days?
Oh, come on, if you're gonna reference Narnia, you could at least deliver the line better than that.
Thanks for all your help, man.
Laissez-faire.
That's a great secret handshake. All right, so we go into a hotel. Most of this movie is filmed in a hotel. I'm inclined to believe there was some sort of libertarian nerd convention going on in Las Vegas, and then he just filmed most of this movie there. Unconfirmed, but that's
probably what happened.
Hi, has there been any messages?
I'm very sorry.
Whoa, holy crap, video calling? This really is the future. Keep in mind, this movie came out in 2014 and had an $800,000 budget. That isn't a huge budget, but it's more than I've ever had.
So I believe what's happening here is this is the rendezvous point where Elliot's family is supposed to meet, which makes it weird that there's a picture of his dad right there up on the wall. Anyway, it seems they didn't show up, and these guys show up instead. And they're hot on Elliot's trail. But fortunately, he's a freaking genius.
Really, kid, call him.
Hey, Mom, I've been to 3 different suit stores for Dad's funeral.
So, gonna go check a few others, but...
He's making this call from the other room. They can't hear him?
But now it's time for Elliot to make his daring green screen escape.
He must have been hiding out here. His gun went off while he was climbing down to the next terrace.
Did he say tariffs? He really is a government employee. Boy, this is the kind of action movie I was hoping for. Teen boys running down the hallway of a hotel. Grown men waiting for the elevator. Teen boys waiting for the elevator. I know you're pretty worried about what's gonna happen to this elevator door. It closes, and also Elliot escapes. Wow, what an action sequence. So, with nowhere else to go, Elliot goes walking down the strip in his trench coat.
These guys are about to mug him, but Elliot scares him away by flashing them.
Oh, gross, ugh.
Oh, sneaky, there's the director. It's a regular Alfred Hitchcock, that guy. Again, an $800,000 budget. Where did that money go? Do they spend it all on hookers? And speaking of hookers, here's a hooker picking up a 15-year-old.
Hey, lover, looking for a good time?
Are you looking for a good time?
You look too young to be undercover. How old are you?
Old enough to be under your covers, baby.
16.
I'd be raping you.
Well, this took an interesting turn.
Turning tricks because you got fired from Fox News?
Dang, you're really showing Fox News a thing or two.
I'm not trouble if you're not trouble.
Libertarianism, true advocates for statutory rape.
Let's go.
What's going on?
So we go to this cheap motel.
Oh, a subtle plug for agorism there. Now, if you don't know what that is, welcome to the club. Basically, it's this movie. You're gonna see it referenced a lot. It's the weird brand of libertarianism that's being promoted in this movie. It's essentially anarcho-capitalism with a tisk and an eye roll.
What kind of party are you looking for, sweetie?
A birthday party.
What would you do for this?
Chocolate?
If that's real, it gets you all night with me and 2 of my sexiest friends, girls or boys, any way you like.
Well, I'm retrosexual, but...
What the heck is retrosexual? Let me look that up. All right, so from my little bit of research that I've done just now, apparently retrosexual is like a term for people who reject the idea of being metrosexual. Metrosexual, from what I understand from South Park, is people who dress like they're gay, but they're not actually gay. It's more a fashion statement than it is a sexual preference, which is weird. So why would he say it in this sexually charged situation? I don't know, it's all dumb.
Tell you how I like it, all night no friends, and something good to eat, a good night's rest.
Is this just the director describing every night for himself?
Coffee and cable news in the morning.
Yeah, cable news, so hot. As long as it's not Fox News though, right? Okay guys, get ready. We're about to see all the action. Cable news. That's about it. Oh my. Did we really need to see this? Is this really the message of agorism? Underage boys with no clothes on, visiting prostitutes, watching
The dark net news?
Okay, don't think this is for me.
But anyway, I guess I should start looking for my parents or something.
Weird that he's watching cable news because it looks like nothing's connected to the cable. The graphics are too much. It's overload for me. Like this green screen, your host is too big for the set. It looks like a giant stuck in a little box. Of course, in the future, people will finally realize the merits of the Donkey Ali font, and professional TV graphics will finally bump up to the level of Southern Baptist sermon slides. Well, anyway, after a night of doing whatever it is they did there at that weird hotel with all the libertarian posters, we go back to the bookstore, where things have changed. I think that's what they're getting at here.
I'm looking for Al.
Ain't nobody here by that name. Go on with yourself before the police catch you in here.
So with no one left to turn to, Elliot goes to his friend from school's house. He's not there, so Elliot has to stand outside and watch lame videos on his cell phone.
Boy, Elliot just can't spend 2 seconds away from watching videos.
Nice slowed down hand shot, you idiots. But if you think that editing trick was bad, check this shot out. Did you see it? Here, let me slow it down so you can see it. Right there. What is this? Is this how you originally had it before the pros came in and fixed it? Well, finally, Elliot's friend shows up to save us from this terrible editing.
Come on, we're exposed out here.
No, it's okay. I like exposing myself. So we go inside where Elliot and his friend sit here talking about school like a couple of schoolgirls.
What is this, the dog cam?
Besides overnight that she's...
Oh yeah, Elliot. You got so many great stories. So Elliot's buddy tells him that ever since Elliot played that amazing, convincing video in class, that beautiful girl who was at the front of the class has not only fallen in love with Elliot,
She was staring at you all googly-eyed through the whole speech.
she has also converted from being an all-out complete socialist all the way over to being a full-blown anarchist. That is the convincing power of poorly edited, randomly thrown in cultural reference YouTube videos. Believe me, I know.
The girl finds you irresistible.
Well, if she can't even see the difference between my dad's limited government approach and the cadre's all-out anarchism, then she's never gonna impress me.
Look, I don't care if this gorgeous girl is interested in me, all right? If she can't see the difference between my particular weird branch of libertarianism and another particular weird branch of libertarianism, then I say, no way, Jose.
Clearly.
Why is the music so sad right here? I feel like we're in a movie about the Holocaust or Soviet Russia or something.
I'm out of ideas when it comes to my family.
What?
Why don't you tell your story to my Uncle Morris?
He's a great listener.
What did Jeweler know about cloak and dagger government stuff?
Probably more than the author of this movie. So Elliot's friend goes to fix dinner while Elliot watches TV on this picture frame.
Here on this program. Why shouldn't my viewers...
Hey, it's Tuvok!
We act solely in defense of our business clients.
Oh man, we spend way too much time watching TV inside of this movie. All right, so if I didn't explain agorism well enough earlier, then here we get a nice little sermon about it.
We have the right to engage in free trade without being molested by corrupt tyrants, thieves, and prohibitionists. FEMA is a terrorist organization. We at Cadre are acting within the guidelines of the Declaration of Independence. And if we accidentally damage something or harm someone, we don't make the excuse of...
Boy, I'm sure what he's saying here is really interesting. Wish the music wasn't too loud to hear it. So then, Elliot is at dinner with his friend and his friend's uncle.
Have you considered that your family might be already dead?
You know, that's a line I often use when people come to have dinner at my house. I look at them and I say, have you considered the possibility that your parents are probably dead? It's a great icebreaker. So these people put our little friend Elliot in a box. No explanation as to what's going on, just get in the box. Then it's black for literally 20 seconds of the movie. And then we open it up and there's the teacher from the beginning.
Anyone I know who's not on the FEMA Most Wanted list?
And Elliot is at some secret base, I think. Hey, it's Kim. Wait.
Is this the Starship Voyager? I mean, this is one of the most advanced secret bases I've ever seen. I mean, yeah, sure, it looks more like a gun range, but no. This is a super secret base. I don't know what this place is, and I've watched the movie over and over and over again to try to figure it out because I want you guys to know what's happening here in this movie, but I don't know. Okay, so the best I can figure is there's this part in Atlas Shrugged, the book. The main character, Dagny Taggart, ends up crashing her plane into this place that's called Galt's Gulch, named after John Galt. It's hard to find this place because they got this technology that hides it from other people, and it's where all these rich people went to live because the government had taken everything over. I think, I could be wrong, but I think that's the type of place that Elliot's at right now. And then we're at this pool. No explanation, no placement shot, which is pretty common in this movie. Standing here in his retrosexual clothes, watching this girl swim around in a bikini. Carry on.
Sorry, I'll make you uncomfortable. I'll just go.
No, wait.
I want you to look.
Gross anyways.
What?
She seems to be a little creeped out by it, so the next scene, of course, they're at dinner together. I don't know. Maybe he played her his economics video and they skipped over that part. So after dinner, they go to this mall. Great location scouting, guys. This is top notch. So each kiosk in this mall is some libertarian issue that they want to push for the movie. If you guys remember my Do You Believe review, I got a little upset at that because they seem to try to shoehorn in every single right-wing issue. That's what this is, but for libertarian issues, all compacted into one 5-minute, terribly edited scene. But don't take my word for it.
We specialize in providing south of the border workers protection.
I am a cannabist.
You eat human flesh?
My dear sir, no. I am a cannabist, not a cannibal.
You're pretty cool. My friend Dow is a big fan of you guys.
Is seen by the feminists as the implementation of a woman's right to own her own body.
I could go and buy everything off your shelves, head on over to a schoolyard and sell it to 11-year-olds.
I can't tell which of these kiosks I love more, to be honest. I think it's a tie between the school shooter simulator and the nuclear arms dealer.
This is what statists think will happen if we got rid of government. This is the type of thing people think the government is protecting us from.
Roughly the same blast as Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but with a far smaller yield than a hydrogen fusion.
Why is this guy doing a Christopher Walken impersonation? Did you think that was funny? Forget the fact that this guy's selling nuclear weapons in the middle of a mall. It's that impersonation that's a crime against humanity. But then, this alert shows up somewhere. We don't see its screen, but it's there, and we gotta get out of there.
What the?
Wait, this is your school?
Now you know why I'm the headmaster.
Oh, they were underground. It was all underground or something. Under the school? Okay.
So then we go back to that hotel, or some hotel, I don't know, and we see that Elliot's dad is still alive!
Elliot!
Dad, this is Lorimer.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How do you know this guy?
It's a long story.
It's actually not that long of a story. Remember, he creeped on you at the pool and now you're here.
So then we get another long, boring explanation about what's going on, I guess.
FEMA has been searching for your mother, sister, and you on my behalf. That would be the FEMA director. Good news, director. You don't have to look for my son.
But then...
Lorimer.
Gasp!
Haven't I taught you anything, Dan?
Wait, he knows her?
Do you know this girl?
I never really have. Even though she's my only child.
No! It's her father, I guess.
Even though she's my only child. Well, if you're intent on committing...
This is worth the movie. This is worth the price that I paid for the Blu-ray just to see his face here. It's like they didn't give Kevin Sorbo any direction in here. So whenever he's like, oh, do I know this already? Am I surprised? He runs through his repertoire of reactions. It's perfect.
Fortunately, we get about a 10-minute conversation between the two of them explaining their backstory and their relationship. Riveting! Most of this has nothing to do with the main plot of the film, so, we'll just skip along.
From what I understand is happening right now, Elliot and his dad are like kind of in the middle between FEMA and the cadre. FEMA is like the government. The cadre is 100% anti-government. Elliot and his dad are like libertarians where they believe in minimal government. And that's the extent of what I'm picking up here after watching this movie at least 4 times. So the director of the movie shows up, gives them the finger, and a ride. Wow, Coca-Cola really spent a lot on product placement for this film. So we go back to the underground, I think?
Started getting reports over a year ago. FEMA was building a secret luxury prison for high-ranking targets, codenamed Utopia.
Just before Utopia became operational, Princess Leia over there brought us the plans to the Death Star.
Princess Leia, because of Star Trek.
So then FEMA did arrest Philip. They have him locked up with my mom and sister?
Yes, we are now ready to raid Utopia, but we need the two of you to help us.
So, Elliot agrees to help the cadre, not because he cares about their cause, but because he wants to save his mother and sister.
This operation is a statist victim rescue.
Basically, it seems that they need to break into this FEMA camp. But while they're in the strategy meeting, Elliot gets a little nervous that the cadre seem to be more concerned about exposing this FEMA camp for what it is than saving the people inside. Isn't that just like the anarchists? To be more focused on their political agenda than caring about the safety of an individual?
Is it to rescue the prisoners or to expose the existence of the prison?
Exposing the existence of the prison.
So the lives of the prisoners mean nothing?
The prisoners and my family are expendable?
I'm sorry, Elliot, but I think you're gonna have to sacrifice your family for the sake of this cause that you don't actually agree with. It's the only way.
I'll do everything in my power to save the prisoners, but we're not doing this for personal reasons. We're doing this to press the reset button on the American Revolution.
Because the time of the American Revolution was great for people who looked like me.
All right, so then we run through a bunch of tunnels. You know, because of tunnels. Tunnels are great, right?
So the plan's going down and a lot of action's happening.
I ran out of coffee. I'll be back.
Shut the door!
And now, for the most intense action moment in cinematic history. Chin, no! How could their plan be foiled by coffee?
And then Chin dies.
Chin?
Chin chimmery, chin chimmery, chin. Then we get this long, drawn-out conversation between Elliot and this guy.
The chief doesn't even care if you live or die.
This is where you're wrong, kid.
The chief loves me very, very much.
But then this guy initiates the self-destruct sequence for the compound.
You have a couple minutes before we take this place down.
What?
There is a baby inside the compound.
There's a baby inside the compound? Why? Well, that's certainly a new element to the film. The writer's like, all right, and then there's a baby in there?
But better if you take him out with you.
Hey, babies aren't my problem. I'm an anarchist. That baby can fend for himself.
So Elliot gets the baby and they get the heck out of there. Hi, I'm a baby. And not a moment too soon.
No! All those people died in that compound, but at least that baby lived. So, were the mother and sister in that building too? We never saw them in there. What happened? Wasn't the whole reason Elliot went in there was to save his mother and sister? Did he just get so caught up in the ideology of agorism that he was like, oh, you know what? I do care more about politics than I do my own family. That's smart. Also, another little question I have is, whatever happened to that girl in class at the beginning of the movie who went from socialism to anarchy? Did we ever see her again? Why'd you even bring her up if you weren't gonna bring her back into the film for some reason? Maybe it would have been better if she ended up being the girl who he met underground, maybe? I'm not saying that it's the perfect fix for the movie, but it's a good place to start.
But then we see the one last message from Elliot's friend.
That's it, man. Hope you know what this means. Love you, bro.
Why does he do it for so long? And they play it again? Oh, jeez. This is a simple edit. Here's how you could have edited this to make it work a little bit better.
In Elliot's hand, cut to full screen, says the stupid thing.
That's it, man.
Then cut to the press conference.
You're welcome. I'm just a dumb YouTuber. Oh yeah, this guy's not suspicious at all. But before he does what obviously he's gonna do, let's listen to Professor Radisson explain to us why anarchy is the best way to go.
I've never been an anarchist. I've always believed constitutional limited government is the best protection, but the revolutionary agorist cadre finally showed me the truth, that it was not the government that I believed in, but these so-called anarchist terrorists.
Wow, the anarchists were actually so wonderful the whole time in this movie. I know this now because the music's informing me of it.
And I trust that the American people will do the right thing when they finally learn the truth.
But then, oh no!
Thank you. You just killed my father.
I give up. And then we end with the teacher rewriting the Constitution.
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment, religion, or prohibiting the free action. Congress shall
Okay,
make...
we know where you're going with this. Yeah, it's gonna just be the first line. Okay.
Congress shall make no law.
We get it. Move on with it. The government should make no law. Okay, yeah, there we go. Whew. Oh, Dement. Jim Dement.
I break the chains that bind my hands and dare to disobey.
There you have it, folks. Alongside Night. And what did I think of it? I certainly think it was a lot of fun to watch. Watch it with your friends. All right, so from what I understand, the point of this movie, I guess, is to convert libertarians over to being full-blown agorists. But agorism is just anarcho-capitalism with a different name. From what I can understand, the fact that they have their own little term shows a certain sense of pretentiousness and elitism. They think of themselves as totally not the same thing, okay? But that difference, at least from what I see in this movie, is what makes your little club completely inaccessible to anybody who might be interested in joining. So the director of this movie has been very specific about the rules whenever it comes to reviewing the film. Here's one quote from him.
If your aesthetic is such that a clear expression of agorist content in a more than competently made low-budget indie film turns you off, please stop calling yourself an agorist, because you're not. You can claim to be any other flavor of free thinker you like. Minarchist, libertarian, partyarch, anarcho-communist, mutualist, ANCAP, voluntarist, distributivist, etc. But you are not an agorist.
Okay, all right, yeah, okay, sorry, yep, you're right. Another thing that he said on the director's commentary was that this movie should not be compared to movies like Avatar. The thought never even crossed my mind. Because this was made for under $1 million, it should be compared to other independent films of the same genre. All right, great. Well, then let's compare it to a film like the fan film Star Trek Renegades. It's got several of the same actors in it, and it only cost $400,000 to make. Yet that film is far superior in almost every single way. It's got great locations in outer space. It's got amazing graphics, pretty good acting in it. It's set in the future, it's science fiction, it's got great cinematography, and comprehensive writing. So I think I'm good to go in saying what I need to say about this movie. This movie really sucks. It's the writing. For a movie that is as preachy as this film is, you never seem to communicate what the actual message is of your film. It feels extremely inside baseball, so anybody who does understand what you're trying to say in this movie probably already agrees with you. It's really not accessible to somebody who has kind of a casual understanding of libertarian thinking, and it's definitely not accessible to somebody who has a casual interest in learning about that sort of thing. I don't know what you did with that $800,000. I've seen 24-hour film challenges that were done better than this. It's not gonna change the mind of anybody. It's not gonna advance the cause of liberty. It's not gonna kickstart personal responsibility and restore trust in the free market. It's just a bad movie. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this show and my review, then be sure to check out my Patreon, patreon.com/SegaNightKev. Some people who've contributed to that are Brendan Neely, The Religious Nut and Hellbound Sinner podcast. You can check that out on iTunes. It's a religious nut and a hellbound sinner doing a podcast, talking about religious things. It's really interesting. And of course, the movie that I mentioned at the beginning of the show, it's a short film running an Indiegogo campaign called Chirp, Buzz, and Other Sensations. That's all I gotta say for today. Whoosh. Good night.
My dear sir, no. I am a cannabis, not a cannibal.
Barkley, what are you doing? Are you taking over the show? He's taking over the show.